Your first class in Zoom was probably a bit scary, but over time, you became more confident and maybe you were even enjoying it. Just a little. At some point though, you might have hit the wall with Zoom fatigue. Like me. One way to get over this is to look at Zoom with beginner's eyes again and refresh your skills with a bit of professional development. Hi, I'm Damien Herlihy, one of Pavilion ELT's vloggers, and in 2021 we've been talking professional development and looking at the core skills you should be focusing on in the classroom. This episode is all about Zoom, and I'm going to show you some advanced features for using Zoom in the English language classroom. By the end of the video, you'll have learnt some new tips and tricks to take your Zoom skills to the next level. Before I start on the tips, Russell Stannard gives a good overview of Zoom and all its features in his article, which can be found with English Teaching Professional subscription. Also, a new title, Live Online Teaching, looks like it could have lots of great teaching ideas to use with online programs like Zoom. On to the tips. Now, the best keyboard shortcuts are the ones that you use absolutely all the time. And for me, that would be sharing my screen. I don't know how many times I do that per class, but it's probably at least 20. So I use Alt-S. And that also comes in handy because you may have noticed Zoom has that really annoying feature where the first time you go to share a video, you have to check the audio box before you do it. Audio box. Oh, audio box. Audio box. You get the picture. Oof, that's better. If there's one keyboard shortcut I wish I could take into the physical classroom, that would be Alt-M, which mutes everyone in the classroom. Just imagine if you could do a quick Alt-M and turn off all your students speaking. It would be a dream come true. Give me it back. Come on. No. Just let me control it. Stop. Stop moving. Oh. Now, I've made the mistake quite a few times where I've given control of my mouse to a student and then they fail to give me back control. So one very useful shortcut is where you can automatically take it back. One last tip with shortcuts, I find it's really useful to make a table of your favorite shortcuts and then stick it next to your laptop or mobile device. So it's really easy to see those shortcuts and use them in real time. Train yourself or your fellow teachers, but don't forget the other part of the equation, your students or their parents. I found when we first started using Zoom, a lot of our students had trouble using a lot of the basic features in the program. So we decided to make a series of videos in the students' first language, showing them how to use all the features in Zoom that we would be using regularly in class. We went through the most important features in the menus for our students, such as using the chat box, how to draw, how to share files, or share your screen. In going through this process, we found there were quite a lot of differences in the user interface between the desktop version compared with the mobile version. So if you do make training videos, make sure you include training through each different device. For example, the giving control of the mouse to a student is next to impossible to use in mobile devices. So in our classes, unfortunately, because our students are on a mixture of devices, we couldn't really use that feature anymore. One final tip, if you have the luxury of having a second device, I recommend logging in as a student maybe once a month to your Zoom classes to get a real understanding of how the students are experiencing your lessons. I think it's a great way to see it from the eyes of your students, and you can learn so much by doing this. For me, advanced sharing is where it's all at. Let's have a quick look at the menu to show you what you can do. Okay, so we go down to share screen, click, and what you'll notice here, we should always click share sound. As I said before, I can't count how many times in the past where I shared a video and then realized I hadn't shared the sound. One interesting feature here is if you want to share multiple screens, all you have to do is press Control and you can select more than one, which is great. Often with this feature, I like to have on maybe one side a timer and on the other side an activity. All right, another feature you might not know about is advanced. We go to advanced, and this is probably my favorite one of all time, portion of screen. This gives you a little green box, and whatever you put under the green box will show on your students' devices. Another thing, portion of screen, I find is really useful is when you want to just share the audio of a video. So I often bring up a YouTube video and then I'll make the square really small and move it to a white portion of the screen. So students will hear the audio of the video, but they won't actually see the video. Finally, the great thing about Zoom is that you can pretty much record everything from the video of your lesson, the audio, to anything written in the chat box, and also notes or drawings you made during class. This makes it great from a professional development point of view because you personally can watch your own lessons afterwards and find out things which went well, which didn't go well, and also decide on how to improve your lessons in the future. Also, if you want to do a peer observation, it's easy to share your video with a fellow teacher, and if you're a director of studies like myself, it makes it so easy to do an observation. There's no need to set up the camera, the audio, blah, blah, blah. It's just a matter of the teacher pressing record and sending you the sample of the lesson they want to be observed at the end of class. Also, you can collect so much learner language to be mined for future learning opportunities. At the end of the lesson, make sure you click on these 3 dots to get a transcript of your chat box. Also, you can easily download PDFs of brainstorming notes you might have made on the whiteboard or any notes you've made during the lesson. This goldmine of learner language can then be used to inform your future lessons. So that's nearly it for this video about Zoom. I really hope you've learnt 1 or 2 new things that you didn't realize Zoom could do. And if you have some, additional tips, why not leave a comment below to share with the English teaching professional community. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to ETP's YouTube channel to keep up to date with everything ETP and take your professional development to a whole new level. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.